of 13 years. Usainu Ture of the Parks and Wildlife Management told GRTS what prompted them to drop the currently used National Biodiversity Strategic Action Plan for the revised standard.
That document has been prepared in 1998, and today there are a lot of gaps in that document. Previously, climate change was not a big issue. Today is a big issue that needs to be mainstreamed. There are a lot of gaps in that document, like people did not own it like they own, because the Department of Parks was spearheading the development of that document, and they own it, but the other stakeholders did not. So this time around we need to design the framework in so that everyone who is participating can have its role to play.
More than 20 modules are embedded in the document. One is the introduction, the other stakeholder participation and mainstreaming. One principal reason for bringing these stakeholders together is to give them a chance to have a thorough understanding of the full process of developing a National Biodiversity Strategic Action Plan.
When designing the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, everyone in the country is a stakeholder. Even though we cannot call all the country, all the 1.5 million Gambians in this room, but we need to have representatives of all major stakeholders like forestry department, fisheries, water resources, all the agriculture and natural resource institutions are part. But also you have other stakeholders like the NGOs, like the CBOs, like the local communities, and also you have the regional governors, because they are institutions that are implementing policies and programs.
I am confident that the successful revision of our biodiversity conservation strategy and action plan will not only be a remarkable stride towards our goal of building a society which is in harmony with nature, but which will constitute a solid basis for sustainable growth and development, and a major step towards realization of the lofty goal of Vision 2020.
The updated and reviewed document will henceforth serve as a useful guide to the Gambia in addressing the threats to its biodiversity and to promote its sustainable use for national development. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
The Governor of West Coast Region, Alhaji Lamin Sane, would confer the Insignia Award to the following APRC deserving militants on Saturday, 17 November 2012 at Kanan Multipurpose Center in Birkama at 10 a.m. Mr. Hassan Kamara, Sutusinjang Village, Foni Barafet; Mrs. Lisa Dabo, Sanyang Village, APRC Vice Chairman; Alhaji Junkun Kamara, Chief, Foni Barafet District; Alhaji Demba Sanyang, Paramount Chief of the Gambia; Mr. Dauda Jaju, Alkalo, Kombo Karawan, Kombo North; Mrs. Meta Jame, Lady Councillor, Foni Kansala; Mr. Modo Aliuba, Businessman, Foni Bondali; Mrs. Ramatulai Jaju, Lady Councillor, Kombo East; Mrs. Aisutu Jivanga Jaju, Regional Women Mobilizer, West Coast Region; for Ansusane, Sibano Village, Foni Bentang; Alhaji Burama Saidi, Youth Mobilizer, Kombo East; Mr. Bala Musa Jabang, Birkama, Kombo Central; Mrs. Aisutu Baji, Dobong Village, Foni Kansala; and Mr. Jere Bojang, Alkalo Manduwar Village, Kombo Central. Well, we're going to take a very short break now. The news continues right after.
What's your AfriCell number?
773.
What's your mobile number?
735.
What's your AfriCell number?
746.
What's your number?
My number is 215.
2? You mean 72?
No, it's 2, and I am AfriCell 2.
AfriCell 2? Hey, hey!
Yes. 2 is AfriCell 2.
Hey, hey!
AfriCell introduces the new AfriCell series, the number 2.
Welcoming the number 2 to the AfriCell family.
From now on, the AfriCell lines will not only start with the number 7, but also with the number 2.
Get a new AfriCell SIM card now that starts with the number 2.
So now I can get an AfriCell number that starts with the number 2?
Yes. And when you receive a call from a number starting with the number 2, it's one of the new AfriCell lines calling you. My mobile number is 2, and
we are AfriCell 2!
Welcome back to GRTS News. A leading member of the opposition Senegalese Democratic Party has called on the government of Macky Sall to direct attention on investigating what he calls alleged corrupt practices in the current government against targeting former Wade officials. Ousmane Ngom of the PDS party was reacting to news of Karim Wade's impending questioning by police. The son of former President Abdoulaye Wade is accused of embezzlement amounting to some €1.5 million of public funds. We have details of that story in this report.
In Senegal, Karim Wade, son of the ex-president Abdoulaye Wade, is to be quizzed by police, investing allegations that he embezzled public funds amounting to €1.5 million when he was a government minister during the rule of his father, which ended in the elections last March. It follows hearings in Dakar at a tribunal hearing evidence about corruption involving the former government. At this stage, we're looking at the management of all the offices of state over the past 12 years. And in most of the cases, we're talking about misappropriation of public funds by those in charge. The people accused are in the habit of complaining publicly in the press about these procedures. But we are standing by our position. Leaders of Wade's Senegal Democratic Party claim the investigators should be targeting the new administration of President Macky Sall. We need to react strongly and in the strongest possible way to these charges. If there are allegations of embezzlement, it's Macky Sall and his government who should be in the front line. It's actually criminal behavior. Sources say ex-President Wade was planning a return from Paris to Dakar to support his 24-year-old son, but was advised by friends not to attempt the journey at this stage.
The African Union has approved military action in the north of the West African state of Mali. The news of the possibility of armed intervention was revealed to the press by the President of the African Union Commission, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, as she continues her visit to Paris. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General Special Envoy to the region, Said Janet, has called for dialogue to end the months-long impasse in Mali. We have details of that story in this report.
The President of the Commission of the African Union was in Paris and met with French Foreign Affairs Minister Laurent Fabius and President François Hollande to discuss the crisis in Mali. Madame Nkosazana Zuma called the various armed groups to hold talks, but repeated that a military intervention was possible.
And we will see, and obviously if we can get peace in Mali and regain the territorial integrity without going to war, fine, but we are preparing, and if that force is not enough, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
The call for dialogue was echoed by Said Djinik in Ouagadougou, where the United Nations representative met with President Compaoré and also officials from the radical Islamic group Ansar Din, one of the armed groups occupying the north of Mali. The option that we prefer, including ECOWAS, the African Union, and the UN, is dialogue, and we would like to see this as soon as possible. This is one of the reasons I came to Bamako. His calls for talks came as the Ansar Din group said that it no longer wants to impose Sharia law in Mali. But a military intervention is still very much a possibility. French President Hollande said as much during his press conference in Paris. France and Europe will do what it takes on the logistical level to prepare for this. But there is no way that France will intervene directly in Mali. France is very involved in these meetings. The United Nations will examine the operational details before giving a green light for an intervention in Mali.
France has become the first major Western power to recognize the Syrian opposition coalition. The various factions fighting to overthrow Bashar al-Assad met in Doha to find a common ground to effect a new government in Syria. The move by the French government has angered Damascus, with the Syrian Deputy Foreign Minister describing the move by Paris as immoral. We have more of that story in this report.
During his first press conference 6 months after becoming the president of France, François Hollande spoke clearly about events